It's awesome. WAGSY'S World. WAGSY'S World. Have some fun. WAGSY'S World. WAGSY'S World. Like and subscribe.
Hey everyone, I'm WAGSY. Welcome to WAGSY'S World. And today, our series is featuring what makes Clint Eastwood great. Wow, a lot to go over. Almost 70 years in the business. Now make sure and stay till the end of the video. I've got the top 5 catchphrases said by Clint. And also I've got a review of a restaurant that he owned for 27 years. Remember, please like, subscribe, ring the bell. I would really appreciate that. And check out some of my other videos. I've got over 50 of them, so check them out. Okay, here we go with the great Clint Eastwood. Clint was born in 1930 in San Francisco. Yes, that's right. He's 91. The nurses nicknamed him Samson at birth because he weighed 11 pounds and 6 ounces. So he was a big boy. Now moving ahead, as a young man, he was in the Army stationed at Fort Ord during the Korean War. Now he was discovered by CBS in 1954. They were actually filming around Fort Ord, and a photographer saw him, took some pictures, and the rest, as they say, is history. Now early on, he had a lot of bit roles in a few B movies, so he wasn't getting a lot of action. Then he had some small roles in TV until his big break, which came in 1958 in the TV show The Western Rawhide. Now after he became known as a, quote, cowboy from San Francisco, he began with making the Italian-made spaghetti westerns, 1964, 65, 66. You know them. Fistful of Dollars, Few Dollars More, and of course, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Now in the 70s, he worked pretty consistently. He had the Dirty Harry series, he did some westerns during that time, and he turned down in 1972 the role of Bond, James Bond, after Sean Connery left. Very interesting there. During the 70s, he was a top box office guy. The 80s, he had lots of different roles, some good, some not so good. The 90s, he came out with Unforgiven and other great movies during that time, and he also started directing and had a lot of success in the 90s directing. Now the 2000s through the 2010s, basically, he acted less and less in movies, but he directed quite a bit more. He directed movies like J. Edgar, The Jersey Boys, believe it or not, Sully, and Trouble with the Curve. So he had a wide range of movies that he has directed, much more so than his acting. Well, he's had a lot of different roles, but his bread and butter, of course, have been westerns, cops, pretty much. Okay, as far as the critics, they've been a lot kinder to Clint later in his career. Early on, it was pretty bad. His dialogue was minimal, and he wasn't great in his craft early on. I think he would even admit that. But later in his career, the critics kind of jumped on the bandwagon as far as his directing and even some of his roles. Now, speaking of his credentials, he's acted in 60 films. He's directed 40. He's produced 37. And 18 films he's been involved with the song credits, whether it's him singing a song, him playing a piano, or just writing a score or writing music for a movie. He's 4 of 11 in the Oscars category, and he's 4 of 13 in the Golden Globes. So he's had some nominations and a few wins. Now his box office dollars, 1.8 billion domestic. A lot of bucks. He's an avid musician and golfer. Also, with the Oscars, he's the oldest director to win an Oscar, and he won that when he was 74. Now me, why do I think Clint Eastwood's great? Well, early on, he was an early film hero of mine. I was a big John Wayne fan, and when Clint came along, I was right there on Clint as well. Just loved his movies and his coolness in general. Of course, he was a lot more edgy and had a bigger variety of roles than the Duke did, than John Wayne. But again, always a cute, cool cucumber. He always got the job done, even if he broke the rules. He had so many iconic roles. You know, Clint really does most of his acting with his body language and his facial expressions. You know, he's light on the dialogue, but it's very distinct and recognizable. He's been a rule breaker in his characters and actually in his personal life as well. He has directed some really great films. His net worth is $375 million. So a lot of bucks he's amassed over the years. Now he has large ownership in the famous Pebble Beach golf course. And I saw him play 40 years ago in the AT&T Pro-Am at Pebble Beach. He wasn't that good of a golfer. He was in the ice plant a lot and maybe even hit one in the ocean when I was there. But he's a very avid golfer. Okay, we said he's 60 films he's acted in, 40 directed. So here's a few of them. Some of these are my personal favorite and some of them I thought you might or might not know. So he's acted, of course, the Dirty Harry series, Escape from Alcatraz, Pale Rider, Gran Torino, $1 Million Baby, and A Perfect World. I love A Perfect World with Costner as the villain. Director-wise, American Sniper, Mystic River, of course that's a huge one, and Flags of Our Father. 3 really good films that he has directed, amongst others. Now, I told you I would give you the top 5 catchphrases from Clint Eastwood. And here they go. I'm going to try to catch them verbatim. You see, in this world, there's 2 kinds of people, my friend. Those with loaded guns and those who dig. You dig. Good, bad, the ugly. Dying ain't much of a living. I believe that's from Outlaw Josie Wales. We got us the Josie Wales. Okay, a third phrase from him. This one's very famous. Go ahead, make my day. Here's another one. You gotta ask yourself. You gotta get back into his voice. You gotta ask yourself, do you feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? And the last one, he should have armed himself if he's gonna decorate his saloon with my friend. That was a good one from Unforgiven. Okay, sorry about the impersonation of Clint, not that good. Now the restaurant I talked about, let's talk about that. Hog's Breath Inn in Carmel, California. Clint opened that restaurant in 1972 and he sold it to a friend in 1999. Of course, it's a rustic saloon and dining room, and their patio is beautiful and one of the most beautiful anywhere. Beautiful patio. There's Clint photographs and portraits throughout the dining room, of course. It's a straightforward menu, California cuisine, no huge surprises, and not stuffy service, but great service. A couple of their signature dishes that I would recommend. The Dirty Harry, which is a New York steak with all the trimmings, some special local mushrooms. That's a good one. And also the sauteed sand dabs. If you've never had sand dabs, you would enjoy them. And they've always done a great job with those. That's it on the great Clint Eastwood. Boy, I got it all in. What a lot of history from him. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell. And we'll see you next Friday. Oh yeah, I forgot one more thing. Whiskey, no glass. Thanks.
WAGSY'S World, WAGSY'S World, it's awesome. WAGSY'S World, WAGSY'S World.